I am Dr. Charles Apoki. A few days back, I was in an occasion. There were so many government functionaries there, so many prominent men of God. As I sat there, I also saw many people who knew me about 25 years back when I was struggling to build myself and what we're doing here. I saw people, when I waved to them in those days, they won't wave back to me because I was nobody. I saw people who said they wouldn't visit me because of where I was living. And I want to share with you something that sounds very selfish, but it is the reality of life. Number one, you can't help humanity from a position of weakness. You can't fight a good fight of faith with from a position of weakness. You can't be a philanthropist from a position of poverty. You can't defend the rights of people from a position of ignorance. You can't even preach to a people effectively from a position of parasitism. Evidence preaches better than theology. Even Jesus said, if you can't believe me for what I say, believe me for what I do. As a young man, focus on becoming the best you can become before trying to please people. Focus on developing yourself before trying to have a messianic mentality. Jesus, at the age of 12, said, "Don't you know I should be about my Father's business?" But it took him 18 years of personal development under divine unction to eventually emerge and say, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to." At the age of 12, he didn't specify what the business was. But at the point of full development, he could specify what he was going to do. I remember in secondary school in those days, two categories of people that were not passing very well. Labor prefects. They spent so much of their time giving punishment to those who erred. So they will supervise, they will mark portions out for them to cut grass, then they will go and supervise while their mates were reading. And then another group, food prefects. They would spend their energies and whatever taking care of the Department of Stomach Sciences. They won't develop themselves. In church, we had young boys, including myself. Okay, I was already a medical doctor, but I was still young. I was 26, 27. You will see young men who devote so much of their energy. I know one particular one devoted so much of his energy towards evangelism, visitation, all kinds of things. Started a ministry that required medical outreaches. He did not develop himself academically beyond his ordinary national diploma. He did not develop any business. He did not run any church. He lived a life that was at a point very parasitic and dependent upon people. And he died, he left nothing tangible, lived a life that was not appealing. I know his reward is in heaven. I know several others who wanted to do philanthropy and so many things without tangible financial, intellectual, academic, social, political muscles. Many of them averaged very poorly. I know one who was so involved in the gospel music industry. He wasn't in the industry, ministry. He would do visitation from here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. At one point, he became a mockery. They were mocking him because he couldn't do well in life. I got to the age of 40, I realized that I was doing several things without building myself. I was into prison ministry, school ministry, outreaches, remand home, motherless babies' homes, all kinds of things that I was doing. But I suddenly realized that I was slowing down. Most of what you see in me today, they had been in me. I got to 38, 39, I had to review my life. And then at 40, I had to leave Aba, come to Ughelli. And I made up my mind. Number one, I was going to focus on being the best I could be. Number two, I was not going to get involved in any destructive activity. Number three, I needed to build an economic base. Number four, I needed to build my family, train my children, make them global citizens. Number six, I needed to develop my intellect. Read, write, and I went to do a master's in public admin. And then I utilize my energy, my resources in building myself according to my own convictions and instructions. I learned never, ever to seek validation from society. Never, ever was I afraid of annoying society. Never, ever was I afraid of being controversial. Never, ever was I afraid of being criticized and mocked. And so I was utilizing my resources very well. I didn't go to ceremonies. I didn't go to any places. I didn't donate money in public. I believed that I would be more useful if I invested those monies very well than throwing them around. And as I sat there in that occasion, I could see those who would not have turned their faces to look at me if I had remained poor, if I had failed. The pathway to your own greatness is different from other people's own. The method you will use is different from another person's own. Don't seek validation. Don't do things to impress people, but do things to progress yourself. I'm not saying you should be selfish. No, but I was very, very frank and brutal to myself. I never ran after any person. I knew that when I reached a certain stage in life, people will run after me. I got to a point I had to stop living my life to please my wife. I had to take hard decisions, painful decisions that will take me to where I wanted to go. And I concentrated on them, focused on them, worked hard on them. Before then, I did anything that will advance me. I drove the school bus. I washed toilets. I did several things. I carried concrete. I was not bothered about what you were going to say about me. Never. I didn't care what my in-laws would say. I didn't care the names they called me. I was focused on myself. They called me a miser. I was focused. There's one stupid boy said I was not a giver. On my 60th birthday, I was not a giver. He was a giver. I still see him where he is. Some dirty young boys in this community saw me as their soft target. They didn't know I was a hard man. A lot of them are still where they are. My friends, Marcus Ekure, Reverend Samson Bojo, Raymond Orogugbe, who is a lecturer and he has a PhD. A host of those I was mentoring. They will quarrel with people, fight with people over the foolish names they were calling me. Dr. Apoki, you talk about principles. I knew where I was going to. They are not my mates. Frankly speaking, a host of them were not my mates. Intellectually, you couldn't, I might sound proud. You couldn't attend the schools I attended. You couldn't read the course I read. You can't speak where I'm speaking. But I left them. I was concentrating. Today, I see them. They can't come near me. Where I function, they can't come near. I traveled to some countries purposefully, intentionally. Today, there's hardly any country on earth that will deny me visa based on a link to my country. I'll give you real estate that runs into 1 billion plus, or account statements, or properties, or institutions I run, or my children. No. Unless on another ground, if not. In those days, I preached in the most terrible places. I needed that exposure. I needed to get the experience. I needed, let me be sincere, I needed the honorarium. I needed it then. But today, if I travel to the United States, I don't need to preach. I don't need to preach. I travel to the UK, I don't need to preach. People will gather, once they know I'm around, they will come looking for me. They will host me. I don't need to go and look for a church to preach. No. I don't need to. I concentrated on myself. So today, I can give scholarships. I can give scholarships. I can make donations. Donations. Big ones. Because the monies I invested have yielded great dividends that I can now, at this age, give out more. One of my landlords died young, and I warned him. Went to see the wife, I saw the children. I've told her, go and bring the school fees of the children. I will train them. I will train them. I will be a father to them. I will train them so that they don't become a problem to me in future. But I will train them. I couldn't have done that years back. No. So concentrate on yourself. Be the best you can be of yourself. Form the standard of the love for your neighbor. Don't let your neighbor dictate the standard. Love your neighbor as yourself. Start by loving yourself. And then the one you won't like, at this age bracket, I'm a little bit selfish. Very selfish. I eat what I want to eat. Switch off my phone when I want to sleep. Wake up slowly. You don't have easy access to me unless I permit it. Because I need my sanity, I need my privacy. I want to enjoy my life. I also want those around me to enjoy. I want to contribute to society. I want to build institutions. I was in the bush yesterday. We were looking at my real estate, and one of the young men in the community said that the money I have pumped into their community, that it has made them prosper. Some have built houses, some are building, train children, bringing development to the place. We are putting the place on the global map. It is because I had evidence. I trained myself. I developed my mind before I started. Okay, let me use my regular statement. Manufacture yourself before you market yourself. Don't be a colorful carton without content. Dr. Charles Apoki is still my name. I have a webinar coming up on the 14th and on the 15th of March, Friday and Saturday. It's going to be a powerful time on how to wisdom to legitimately make more money. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. The admin will send you the flyer and will have properties for sale. The admin will liaise with you and prepare a payment schedule if you want to pay in installments. The number again is +234 80 21 21 92 62, and we have paid counseling sessions. Paid. It's my time. It's my life. It's my ministry. I don't run a church. You pay tithes elsewhere. Don't look at me like that. God bless you. The number again, +234 80 21 21 92 62. Dr. Charles Apoki.